Today we're working on the Way ANOVA. We are looking at, we're going to examine learning performance under 3 different temperature conditions, 50 degrees, 70 degrees, and 90 degrees. So with the Way ANOVA, we've got 2 variables here. We've got the dependent variable, which is our learning performance, and our independent variable, which is the 3 different temperatures. So let's look at our variables first. Let's go here to variable view. All right, so here we've got our, temperature would be our independent variable. So we're looking here. And with the Way ANOVA, we need the, hang on, let me get here. So we need, our dependent variable needs to be interval, ratio, or continuous, and our independent variable needs to be categorical. So here we are looking at our independent variable, and it's going to be nominal, which means categorical. So we'll look at the values here. And here are our 3 different categories. So we've got category 1 is our 50 degrees. Fix that. And then our 70 degrees is our second, and 90 degrees is our third. So that's good there. So let's go down here and look at our dependent variable. And it is scale or continuous, so that's all we need there. So our variables look good. So let's go back to data view. Okay, so here we've put our variables here, and here's our data sets. So here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in group 1. That was our 50 degrees. And then 6 in group 2, which was the 70, and then another 6 in group 3, which was the 90 degrees. Okay, so let's look at our assumptions first. So assumption 1 was the dependent variable is ratio, interval, or continuous, and we just we confirmed that in our variable view. So here's our dependent, and its scale, which is continuous. So that means assumption 1. Assumption 2 is the independent variable has to have 2 or more independent groups. And if we look here, there's 3, so we meet that assumption. Assumption number 3 is independence of observation. And what that means is, like, no one participant is in more than one group. And we know that is met because we have the 3 different groups of 6. So one individual isn't in more than one observation group. So number 3 is met. For assumption 4, no outliers. We can kind of look at the data points and see that, but we'll run a descriptive statistics just to kind of confirm that here in a second. Assumption number 5, approximately normal normal distribution for the dependent variable. We can look at the descriptive statistics in that one as well. We will look at the Shapiro-Wilk test, since our data sample is below 50. And then assumption 6 is the homogeneity of the variance, and we'll do the Levene's test on that when we actually run the ANOVA. So let's go ahead and run the descriptive statistics now for assumptions 4 and 5. So we're going to go up here to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, Explore, and then we've got our dependent list, which is learning, and then our factor list, which is our independent variable, is temperature. Let's let's go over here to statistics, and we just want the descriptives. That's fine. We don't need anything else there. So continue, and let's go down to plots, and we want to do the stem and leaf, and then the normality plots with tests here. This will give us a nice little plot graph to look at outliers and the normal distribution. So we'll go ahead and click continue, and OK, and here we go. All right, so we can just go ahead and scroll down. We come to the Shapiro-Wilk test first, and that's looking at assumption number 5 for the normal distribution. If we look at this sig value here, all of them are greater than the 0.05 significance level. So what that indicates is that we do have a normal distribution for all 3 groups here. So that's one way of looking at it. And then we can scroll on down to the stem and leaf plots. This will show us the normal, approximate normal distribution as well. All our data points are close to this this line here. That's for 50 degrees, and here's for 70, and then there's for 90. And these graphs also can confirm that there are no outliers for assumption number 4. We don't have any significant outliers away from the line here on any of the groups. So that's good. So we now know that we've at least met assumptions 1 through 4. So let's go ahead and run the ANOVA. Just X out of there. And then that'll give us our analysis results as well as an answer for our number 6 assumption. So for the ANOVA, we're going to go up to Analyze, down to Compare Means and Proportions, down to the One-Way ANOVA. So we've got our learning here in the dependent variable list, and then again our temperature down here in our factor. So let's go over here. Contrasts, we don't need anything in there, so just continue. There wasn't anything about a post hoc, but we're going to run one anyway. Just the one-way ANOVA itself will show us if there's a statistically significant difference between the groups, but it won't tell us which groups are different. So a post hoc will actually give us that little bit of information. So let's look at that. So the to key here, we're going to make sure this box here is clicked, and that'll help give us a little bit more information. And then we can make sure this little button here is selected for our significance level of 0.05. So we'll continue there. And we can leave this clicked as well. I'm not sure which version you have. You might have this option, you might not, but you can, if you do, you can just leave it clicked. That's fine. It'll just give us more information. So look, everything, let's check options real quick. We want descriptives, homogeneity of variance. That'll help us out with assumption number 6. And then you can leave this here as well. This excludes cases, analysis by analysis. You can leave all that in there. All right, and let's continue. We don't need to look at the bootstrap. That's for another day. And let's go ahead and run our analysis. All right, and here we are with our results. First, let's look at the Levine's statistics for our homogeneity of variance for our assumption number 6. Okay. If we want to look at the significant level here, they are all above the 0.05 significance level, so we do meet assumption number 6. have equal variance between the groups. So we can move on with our analysis results. Let's go down to the ANOVA table. And this table right here. And so we've got between groups, and we want to look at this significant value here. So it's 0.002, which is less than the 0.05 significance level. So what that means is that there is in fact a statistically significant difference between the groups. And we can also go up here to this descriptive box, and here's our three different groups. You've got the 50, 70, and the 90 degrees. We can look at these means, and you can actually see it, that there is a difference between the means. So we've got a couple ways to confirm that. Okay, so now that we know that there is a statistically significant difference, let's go check out the Tukey post hoc, and that will show us which groups differ. And that's this table here. And if you look again, this just kind of confirms everything we've seen so far in the ANOVA table and in the descriptives in regards to the difference between the means. So these are pretty significant differences between, you know, the three, and then the 70 against the 50 and the 90. Again here, that's pretty different. And then the 90, then we've got 8.6 and 22. So this just tells us that there's a difference between all of the means. So yeah, that's where we're at, and I believe that is all we needed to cover with this Way ANOVA.